Time is now 7 p.m. on October the 26th, 2022, and this regular meeting of the El Campo Independent School Board of Trustees is now called to order. Let the record show that this meeting was duly posted in accordance with section 551.043 of the Texas Government Code with regards to notice of public meetings, and that there is a quorum of members present. At this time, please stand, lead prayer and pledge. Let's pray. Lord, thank you for letting us all come here tonight to discuss the important business before this board for our school district and our community. Let us remember that we're all here with the same goals, and let us serve you in what we do. We ask these things in your son's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At regular meetings, the board allots 15 minutes for persons who desire to make comments to the board to have opportunity to do so. Has anyone signed up tonight?
Yes.
Okay. We also allow time for public testimony. Has anybody signed up for that? Okay. That'll take us to consent agenda.
Board members, before you get to those, there's just one sheet of paper that kind of gives you descriptions of tonight's meeting, so you might look at that.
Item number 4 is our consent agenda. According to local policy BE, a consent agenda is provided that includes items of a routine and or reoccurring nature grouped together under one action item. Board members have been furnished with background material for each of the items listed as part of the consent agenda. Unless a board member requests that an item be withdrawn for individual consideration, the items are acted upon with one single vote. Actions on items withdrawn for individual consideration are acted on separately with separate motions for each item. Is there anything that anybody wants to pull out of the consent agenda?
Just one mention, your financial reports for this month are not in the packet. They're not in the packet because we're in the process of transitioning from Ascender Texas software over to Skyward, and my staff working diligently with Skyward staff to migrate all that information over. So we hopefully should have reports for you next month. So.
Gotcha.
Can I ask a question on item 3B? Is this just a renewal? Have we?
K-9 detection.
Right,
So,
have we let it go and coming back? I don't.
well, if you recall, in 2020, in the spring, the state closed schools down.
Right.
And in 2021, the 2020-2021 school year, they limited people's access to schools.
Okay.
And then last year, we had the same thing when we started the year, is the state
Okay.
did not want visitors on our campus.
Gotcha.
Now everything is relaxed. We're able to now get back to K-9 detection, student drug testing. So all of those things are now back in full force.
Okay.
And that contract is renewed every year.
Okay.
Each of those years he mentioned, we had money budgeted, but we didn't spend it.
Okay. Just a question. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, I'll seek a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Dortick, a second by Mr. Vallejo. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. That'll take us all the way down to presentation items, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that'll be item 5B1 and C1.
Correct, and I'll start with 5B1 from my perspective, which is the update on the safety and security audit. Because the state does not want those discussed in open session, it is on the agenda, but it will be discussed in closed session. They don't want out there what their findings were. But the second part of that item is the progress of our safety and security plan, and that's Mr. Wells.
So, the safety and security plan, we are currently, in the process of doing all of the wiring of the doors. We're still working on all of the elementary schools, to, get the door monitor systems in place. VCS is, I mean, it's a long process. We have also, gotten a ship date for the, round gate that's gonna be going in at the stadium. So that's gonna be coming in and getting installed. We're also going to be, doing another, gate closer on the inside of the stadium that separates the campus from the stadium, in the event that we need to utilize the track or things of that nature during the day, so that we can still have the perimeter of the campus locked down at the high school. We are also, we've already started, we've received our bids for our phone system that I told you about in the previous, board meeting. We'll be bringing those to you guys. Also, another thing is we did walk-arounds with all campus security, to look at all of the cameras throughout the district. So we've gotten our bid in from all campus securities on all of the cameras updated to bring us up to par, and have new cameras, more coverage, interior coverage, the long runs in the hallways, and to be able to, we're gonna have to move some cameras, adjust some cameras, and so we have that bid back as well. We've already got the wall up at, North Side, protecting the window coming in, at Hutchins, protecting the window from Robert Street.
Robertson Avenue.
Robert-
No, Avenue I.
Avenue I and Roberts. They poured concrete, at the middle school, in front of the glass there at the, cafeteria. So that's already done. So we're in the process of getting the wall, put up at the, cafeteria. So that's where we kinda are, and we got an opportunity to test our safety film today. You know, I hit it with a bat quite a few times, had a little bit of glass, shattering back at me, and I just said to myself, I hope the active shooter has safety glasses or he's gonna really struggle to.
I hope he doesn't.
There you go. So,
Truth be told.
anything you would like to add to that?
No, I think you did a great job of going through everything.
Okay, that takes us to item, 5C1, which is the report on first 9-week attendance.
So board members, in your board packet, you should have the first 9 weeks attendance data. And so you can see that we compared this year with last year. And so at the high school, our attendance last year was 91%, 91.16. This year it's 93.86. It shows you all the different grade levels. Also shows you the ALP numbers. Shows the middle school from 92.47 to 95.07. Northside 92.61 to 96.22. Hutchins from 91.79 to 95.47. And Myatt from 89.22 to 92.42. So our goal is to bring this to you every 9 weeks so you can see what we're experiencing as a school district in relation to where we are attendance wise. Yes, sir.
Those are significant percentages to jump, it seems like, from last year to this year. Was that credit because hangover from COVID years or something last year, or?
I think that's part of it. I also will tell you, I credit our principals. They have made this a priority. And they went out this week and completed their interviews for parent liaisons, and so we've got that started.
And we still had some COVID hangover
Yeah.
Yes, sir,
Yeah, at the
we
beginning.
did, I agree with that.
That's, cause that's
I mean, these are three.
really good.
It's 3 points on every campus.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
How does that equate into ADA? You know, MERS.
Our average daily attendance right now is, I think you've got that number, don't you, Bob? 33,
33.
Well,
or no, 3175, I believe. ADA.
or I don't have the ADA numbers,
Okay.
but we, basically, what we would do is take the 3386. It's a lot more complicated than it just sounds.
Right.
Because you get different ADA for different students, so there's,
They way different.
they weigh differently. So a CTE student gets a little bit more weighting, special ed students get a little more weighting.
But just the raw, just the.
Just the raw, well, the raw the reason that we gave this to you is so that you recognize that we're focused on it. So the raw attendance is up, and then I gave you a 10-year enrollment, comparison. So,
Yeah, we're all doing
yes, and I,
I can tell you this, if we're sitting here with 94%, we're gonna be real happy. And if we're at 95,
Even be happier.
So-
Look at the early, the EE, that's early childhood, I guess.
yes,
75 to 88.
I mean, that's remarkable.
Look at Hutchins. 91 to 95.
Yeah.
I mean,
What-
that's a huge jump.
and the board members will note that back in 2019, we were at 3,600 students. And then COVID came and we dropped to 3,386. So significant, that happened all around the country. Then the next year came and was COVID based and we were at 3,224 enrollment. Then we went to 3,347 and now we're at 3,376. So we're right back to where we were pre-COVID, 3,386 compared to 3,376. So we're down a little, but I can tell you that we are being much more judicious when it comes to outside students enrolling and trying to be transfer students. I feel that Ann Rivera and the principals and Alicia are doing a phenomenal job with making sure that everybody has proper enrollment documentation when they come in. So all of those things, we're not just getting an influx. I bet we could be up 50 students if we, further than that, you think?
100.
If we just allowed anybody who just showed up at the door, but we're really trying to follow state law, because we're an entity of the state, and so we're requiring people to have the proper documentation.
Good to know. Novel idea.
Any questions about any of the enrollment data or ADA data?
Good work.
Nice work. That'll take us down to item, 6,
B1. 6A,
6A1,
6A1.
6A1. Page
Oh, yes.
40.
FM local. So in the board packet, Paul is not here, so I guess I'll take on that one. We would recommend a motion to modify the FM local policy as recommended by the administration. And I sent that policy to you, which is a change from 10 days, which is our present policy, to 20 days of pre or district competition. And then continue with the policy in post-district, that it's unlimited. But right now, our students are only allowed to miss 10 days in pre-district competition. And candidly, if you're a volleyball player, you better not think you're gonna leave during basketball season or track season, because you've already reached your limit.
Right.
So we're recommending, that's why
And
it's
it's impossible for the kids that play
multiple sports.
Spring golf, tennis, and play any other sport.
Correct.
Like the Wells kid.
That Wells
And we don't wanna talk about the Wells girl.
Yeah, this is a, from what I understand, this is a fairly standard policy from a lot of the districts that, you know, we always compare our policies and things to, that you don't wanna get into something where a kid is in breaching the policy because they play multiple sports.
And it's not just.
It's not sports, it's also,
It's not just
Anything.
sports, it's like the, particularly in the ag.
Right.
So we have identified, 3 activities at the ag level that we consider to be past district. So the San Antonio Show, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
Forward,
And all your regional.
Pardon?
all,
All the majors.
yeah.
And then any of the, in the LDE contests,
Right.
anything that goes beyond district is
Yeah.
post-district. So we want our kids to be able to perform, and then if there's ever a chance for them to reach 20, and I'm gonna tell you, there are. I've researched this over the past couple of years, and there's probably a handful to 2 handfuls worth of students who get past 20. And so we don't want them to be limited. We want them to be able to go, but we wanna have some restrictions where
Because
they.
they can't do it if they're not passing any.
Correct.
So
Yep.
it's not an academic conflict.
any questions, discussion on this item? Everybody understand what we're doing?
I'll move that we modify the Alcanfa board policy relating to extracurricular absences.
Second.
Motion and a second, motion by Mr. Dortic, second by Mr. Dubrock. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. That'll take us to 6B, 1, which is, consider and take possible action to adopt a resolution establishing the school guardian program. So, just so everybody understands what the process is. So in order to move forward with the next step of the implementation of the Guardian program, our local board policy has to be amended so that we can accommodate such a program. So this resolution amends that board policy so that we can take the next step. And the next step is to send the plan procedures, the Guardian plan procedures, to the safety committee so that they can review them, talk about them, make them, customize them, tailor them to what our program wants to look like. And then those resolutions, or that plan would come back to the board as a recommendation from the safety committee. And at that time, the safety committee, the board would vote to adopt or not adopt the recommended, plan from the safety committee. So what the resolution does tonight is makes our local policy accommodate such a program. And so that's the first step that has to take place tonight.
But it's not gonna guarantee we're gonna do it all.
So it, theoretically, no, it does not guarantee that we're gonna do it. It is a definite step in that direction because our board policy will now allow for that program. And the ultimate implementation would take place when the procedures that the safety committee bring back to the board, that would be the vote that actually implemented the program. Questions? Discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion that,
I would still like to recommend that Mr. Irwood read the resolution.
In
its entirety.
In its entirety.
Good thing I listened to the board president.
I move that we approve the resolution as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Dubrock and a second by Mr. Irwin. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion, carries, with one voting against, and that's Ms. Smith. So with that, that'll take us into our closed session.
And board members, before we go into closed session, we did not do the recognition of the principals. I know that only one of them is here, but real quickly, I would just like to go back to item
You need to come front and center.
3.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, I don't know, that's okay. So I just wanted to read this real quickly.
You want me to read it?
No, sir.
For me? Mari, would you like me to read it?
I have it highlighted, if you'd like to do that. One of the things that I want the board to recognize is that we have highlighted, actually Valerie has done a phenomenal job highlighting one principal on every Riceburg News. And we have, we did a nice little presentation for all of the administrators at our meeting 2 weeks ago. They were all pleasantly surprised with their gift. It was a very nice red pad folio, and so they were all very pleased with it. And so this is what the governor of the state of Texas, Greg Abbott, has said. Principals are entrusted with a profound responsibility, the education of Texas children. Children are our most precious resource, and our children truly hold the fate of our people in their hands. Therefore, a rigorous, well-rounded education is of the utmost importance. Principals play a crucial role in the molding of young minds and, in turn, the shaping of our state's future. The role of principal requires competence and compassion in equal measure, and the task of education demands both an iron will and a heart of gold. If school is to be productive and orderly, its principal must be an adept communicator, a firm disciplinarian, a savvy analyst, and a judicious policymaker. Principals create cultures of excellence wherein students can achieve their full potential, thereby ensuring the Texas future will be better and brighter for all. And I would firmly attest to all of you that I believe our principals do that. And so,
I agree. Good job, Mari.
Yeah, good job.
We're gonna give this to you since you can.
Frame it.
No, I get it. Well deserved, and I will echo that, not just the Principals Month, but our social media presence and the recognition that I saw it over, Principals Month, and everybody was recognized on there. So I think the community would never have known that it was Principals Month in years past. So that's kudos to you for leading that charge. But it's happening on everything. I probably wouldn't have known about the ag team until I came tonight if I wasn't paying attention to our social media. So that's a cool aspect that I think is important. The bridge between what we're doing here and the communities, it's a plus. So we appreciate that. So that'll take us to the closed session. Sorry, Mari, I almost missed your recommendation. Your recognition.
well, and here's the bigger thing, Chief. I wanna commend Chief. He wanted to be here in case we had a few questions on I told him we would be through this quickly.
And you were,
And we did,
a man of his word.
but I do wanna tell everybody out there in the audience that according to my agenda, there is nothing to be dealt with following the closed session. The only thing that I know will be discussed under the superintendent's report is going to be the closed session next week for the board members to do their Team of 8 training. And so that will be announced publicly. If you wanna stay for that, you already heard the discussion before the meeting, so you already know what's already gonna be discussed, so anybody's free to stay, but I'm gonna tell you that when the door closes, the next time it opens, I'm gonna see 7 people walking out the door.
Thanks for being here.
Thank y'all.
Have a good
Thank
night.
y'all,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
The time is now 7:24, and we will adjourn into closed meeting under Texas Government Code 551.074 personnel matters.